These are the ones who didn't wait for a seat at the table. The visionaries, the builders, the leaders who move fast and turn obstacles into opportunities. Stories of vision and resolve, of risk taken and limits broken. The grit, the courage, and the moments that changed everything. Welcome to the table.
Darby, welcome to the table.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So you guys have built multiple businesses in this area. What kept you here instead of moving across state?
Since being here in the 60s, Vermilion County and Danville as a whole was quite a bit different back then. Back then, it was a booming city. It was a manufacturing city. There was a lot of people here. There was a lot going on. And then once you start owning a family-owned business, the relationship you start to make with the people around you, it kind of just makes that family business grow a little bit bigger, and so your community gets a little bit bigger. They always say it takes a village, and there's still a few businesses hanging around. There's quite a few family businesses still hanging around, and so it's just one of those things. You take pride in ourselves as a business, but we take pride in our community and the other businesses around us.
Most people know of you and your family and the businesses that you have in Vermilion County, but for those who don't know, can we talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So the thing that we've been trying to do in the recent years has kind of been saying, informing people of Greenwood Inc., Greenwood Incorporated, and underneath Greenwood Inc. and Greenwood Incorporated is going to be a few different entities. The ones that people more so know there locally are Sunset Funeral Home and Sunset Memorial Park, Hall of Fame Plaques and Signs, but then we also have TriGuard Memorials, and then Greenwood Plastics. And so through all of our different manufacturing that we've been able to do, it's kind of been able to take us out into the country as well. And those other ones that people might not be as familiar with are ones that we do more kind of shipping across the country with. And so still entities that are here ran and manufactured stuff here in Danville, Illinois. But yeah, have quite a few different entities going on and just love being part of the community. So
I think I recently heard you say at one of the groups that we're involved in that you create the plastics that are at the airport.
Yes. Yep. So that'd be Greenwood Plastics. And so really they're behind the scene tubs. And so really when your luggage goes through and if it needs to get transported to other places, it gets put into the tubs, and those get sold to Delta Airlines, Southwest Airlines, most of the major airlines that you would know today. Most of those airports would probably have some of our product in it.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yep.
I think that you guys are mostly known for Sunset Funeral Home around here, right?
Yes, and so the office that we're currently sitting in, this is our cemetery office, and so Sunset Memorial Park is what actually brought us to this community in the 1960s, and then all kinds of things happened. We ended up owning and operating our first funeral home, and so that's just kind of spun on to having about 10 here in central Illinois and central Indiana, and we have one way out in sunsetty West Arizona, and that's quite the story too. So
Really? What is that story? I didn't realize you had one out in Arizona.
Yes, so my grandfather, Big Jim, we used to have we have family that lives out there, and so he would travel, like when it's snowing on the ground right now, he gets out of here. He goes out and hangs out in Arizona. And so when he was doing that, and he's sitting in the retirement community, I always say, Big Jim, he gets this itch for entrepreneurship. And so he's sitting there and he has to scratch it, and so that could come in creating a different product, creating a different process, buying or coming up with a whole different kind of business. And so, he had one out there one day, out there, and it was in a retirement community. And so he was basically kind of just sitting there and thinking, he's like, there's not really a funeral home within probably 15 to 20 miles of where I'm currently sitting. And so he goes to the board of the community and introduces himself. And at the time, we had our funeral home location here in Danville and the Memorial Park as well, and along with a few other businesses that kind of help service what we call the death care industry. And so he introduced himself, introduced kind of his belief and understanding of the grieving process of the death care industry, because some people, it's this thing that you don't really want to talk about very much. And as much as we like to respect that, we also like it to be known that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to open up about it. And so he does that with this community and says, I would like to put a funeral home here to help people in the worst times of their lives. And they tell him no. And me sitting back looking at it, it makes sense, because they say, well, we don't want this to be the place that people drive by and see, oh, well, I'm moving in this community and there's where I end up. And that all makes sense and everything. But to an extent, it's a service that does need to be provided, and we believe that we can do it at a very high standard to make sure that those loved ones go down that path of grief properly. But so they told him no. And the other thing is, you don't tell Big Jim no. That's how we usually end up with something new, something or the other. And he basically went to the county building and got a land map and found the one piece of property that that community did not own. That just so happened to be smack dab in the middle of that retirement community. So he purchases that piece of land and he builds Camino del Sol, and that's our funeral home over there in Sun City, West Arizona.
Wow, that's such a good story.
Yep.
What kind of careers are actually in demand in this area since you are involved in different businesses? What is there the most need for, I suppose?
Well, we used to tout ourselves as a manufacturing town for such a long time. And there is still plenty of thriving manufacturers here in this community. But really, there are all kinds of opportunities. Ones that me as a business owner that I deal a lot with are the trades. Plumbers, electricians. I was just talking about it at lunch. I mean, there's not too many painters that are around here anymore. People that do blacktop paving and stuff like that. And so kind of those jobs that might not be the funnest when it's hot out or when it's cold out, but they are good paying trade jobs. And our community does need those. And it'd be a great way for somebody to start making a name for themselves. But there are all things. I mean, we have a lot of salons. We have a lot of clothing boutiques and stuff like that. And it's awesome to me to see that those people are taking that risk on themselves to say, I'm going to start my own salon, my own boutique. But really, there's so many different routes that people can go. And even if it is working from home, I always like to think of our town and our community. The cost of living is lower. But I think our community, it's convenient too. You can get from one side to the other relatively easy and find most of the things that you do need. So if there's a certain job that you would be looking for, there's a good chance that one of these manufacturers, these big name manufacturers, or if it's something that you feel like taking a risk on, there's that opportunity for you to bet on yourself and try to do it yourself. When I graduated college, I didn't necessarily know what all even our family business had. Didn't think of necessarily going into HR, going into IT, thought about accounting. But there are all these different type of skill sets that even our business needs. That we are a small family-owned business. We're not the big national manufacturer, but even just our small family-owned business has plenty of opportunities. And so I know that those are out there within our community as well.
Yeah. Where do you see Vermilion County going in the next 3 to 5 years? I've heard people say that it's going to be more of a, what is it called, bedroom community?
That's the term, yes.
Yeah.
Not necessarily saying that is an option, but I'd say to kind of just what has just happened in our community, let's just say with Heister and how that all went down. There's got to be some kind of things that start to click within our community to think a little bit differently than what we have, get a little bit more creative, not to maybe where we try to pigeonhole ourselves into being one certain thing. Our state parks. I mean, we have some of the best state parks, not just within the state. I mean, nationally, here in the Midwest, especially. There's so many great tools that we have in our community that we thought we were a manufacturing town for so long that let's not turn a blind eye to what other great things that we have in our community. So I think it just takes getting a little bit creative with it, and helping people understand that you can take a risk on yourself, and you have a great support from a great community that would love to help and see you thrive.
So you're talking about the park. What are we known for other than the recreational spaces? What do you think that we should be focusing on?
Agriculture is a big one as well. Not too far can you go without seeing a cornfield, a bean field, anything like that. And so tapping into maybe those industries that we would think because I mean they can bring a lot to a community, and there's a lot more that we can probably do. Because I mean, farmers they're small family owned businesses too. They might own a lot of land, and sometimes it's just a few of them doing it. But doesn't mean that there isn't avenues that we can bring to our community to help them out, or processes that we can use just because of the amount of land that we have surrounding us.
That makes sense. We have noticed an issue where the young people leave and they don't come back. If you were 18 and you had to start from scratch, knowing what you know now, what would you do?
It's funny because I think about that a lot, and what I see as as I get older, one, starting out at 18, what I would suggest to anybody is to leave our community.
Yeah.
Go see what the world is like. Go experience it to the fullest. Our community would love having experience come back to it. But what I've realized with a lot of people that as I get older, as they start to have kids, this place is home.
Yeah, that's true.
Convenience and family are still what our community really is. And so being able to know that you can come back to this community where the cost of living is lower. Say you tried living in a big city, you tried living in Chicago, you had a kid, maybe you had two kids. Well, two kids is a little bit more difficult than one kid. And so then all of a sudden you try to figure out how do I manage my life now? How do I have work-life balance? And maybe coming on home might be the best route for me, because I have a lot of friends now at this point that leave and they come back, and what they come back with is an admiration for knowing that this place is still here. And it's a place that they called home, and now they get to make a home with their little family. And so for me, we got to realize what life's about. And whatever experience, I mean, being a small family owned business, we like to hire to retire, but that's not always the case. So anybody that does come into our building or comes to work for us, that outside experience is crucial. Because being a family owned business, sometimes you only know what you know.
Yeah.
And so getting outsiders, getting other opinions in, getting people that have kind of that outside world experience to come into a small family owned business, they can make a name for themselves pretty quickly. So.
No, I think that's true. Because I moved over to Champaign, and there's nothing like home. I come home like every Thursday and want to spend time with my family. So I completely agree with you.
Yeah. 100%. I would say that I went to college in Champaign for 4 years. So I didn't go too far. But it gets you kind of out on your own, managing your own life, managing your own time. Managing your own money. And so then at that point, if kind of the life gets a little bit more difficult, you know that you can always come and lean back on your family or things like that. But really going out there and just having that life experience and bringing it back to our community, wherever that does happen with, a lot of those people come back and they bring good thoughts, good ideas back to our community.
Yeah, I love that perspective. I hadn't thought of it that way. What skills are more important than like having the perfect resume? What skills are going to land you a great job in this area? What are people looking for?
I'd say it is a community where I'd say finding higher up jobs might be a little bit more difficult, not impossible. But that's where kind of that outside world experience, you go and get that knowledge and come back, might make it a little bit easier to hit the ground running. But there are a lot of businesses around here that do promote within. And so you can rise through the ranks and get to those positions. So certain ones in particular, or certain skill sets, just like our community itself, I mean, you got to be resilient, you got to be tough, you got to be ready to come in and do the hard work. We were a manufacturing town, we were a blue collar community, and so hard work shouldn't be something that we should be afraid of. And especially to get kind of reverse the image that we have our community, it's going to take a little bit of hard work and digging deep. And it might not necessarily be getting your hands dirty, but it's going to take looking within ourselves. But really just the end of that tenacity to be able to just know that what you want for yourself is worth fighting for.
What do you think it'll take to reverse the image that we have?
Well, it's a sad thing to say, but the good thing is we are not necessarily alone. There's a lot of communities around in the state of Illinois, especially, but other communities have closures. A lot of corporate companies are kind of taking this kind of look back and looking at their checkbooks and seeing if having this many stores is worth it. Looking per capita, who, what, when, where. And so it's not necessarily just us that's feeling this, but to anybody that just lives in our community, it doesn't look great.
Yeah.
And so I think if we get enough people that band together to just say, hey, let's look at the wins that we're having and not focus solely on the losses, it starts to kind of get contagious. And so if we start to celebrate more than we kind of just try to look down or talk bad about what's going on in our community, when we get to choose how our day goes when we wake up.
Yeah.
And so if we choose to get on Facebook and look at that closure, and our first comment is, well, that's just another one for Danville. Well, I mean, as you and I both know, with the teams that we be a part of and everything, there's plenty that are coming in. And so if we can just start getting the word out more than what's kind of the negative narrative, I think that just starts to create a mind of its own. And so really it's small steps. I wish there was just one big fix, because I think all of us would be shooting hard to try to grab it and get at it. But it takes just a bunch of people that care and do the right things and talk the right way about just our community as a whole.
Can we talk about the Coalition Career Fair?
We can.
Okay, so what is it?
So the Coalition Career Fair is something that yes, I believed in wanting to have happen. But there is 30 businesses that are going to be there. I have over 30 volunteers that have agreed to be there for that day. So they are a part of this just as much as I am. I wish I could have all of them talking and being on the radio or being on Facebook, because this is not about Greenwood Inc. and just our businesses solely. It is about our community. And really the word coalition for me was one that it basically we are all coming together as businesses. We might compete for the same employees, but that's not the point right now. The point is to show these employees that are affected by the tough times that there are still thriving businesses, that are good paying jobs, that want you to stay in this community. And we are all coming together to say, hey, this is for all of you, not for all of us. And so Sunday, February 22nd, 1 to 5 p.m. at the David S. Palmer Arena, we will have a career fair. And like I said, 30 businesses, a bunch of volunteers are going to dedicate their time that Sunday to trying to keep Vermilion County in Vermilion County. These people are worth fighting for. We will have free resume building. We'll have free mock interviews. And the reason for those things are for people that might have not had to do them for a long time. HISER has been our community for a very long time. And a lot of people have probably worked there for 2.5 decades that have not had to know or care about what a resume was for a long time. And so to hopefully give them comfort and peace of mind, you can come in that day. We have plenty of HR professionals ready to sit down with you, make you feel comfortable, and let's exploit the skills that you've acquired while working at your previous job. Think of, say, a stay-at-home mom. She wants to build a resume, and she starts out and she's like, I don't really have any skills. I've just been a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
My wife is basically the greatest organizational person and leader of our home that I could ask for, because she has great time management skills. She has great organizational skills. She does know how to lead, because running businesses, I come home and she has everything taken care of on that side. So our home front is taken care of, but there's so many skills that you can acquire. Say if you are a stay-at-home mom, that are ones that you should be proud of. Managing just your children's well-being and their mental health. There's all kinds of avenues that go through. That you can go through, and skills that you can start to kind of explain to somebody that, hey, you're not just a stay-at-home mother. To people that would be coming there that's worked at a job for that long, just because you did this certain thing and you didn't see that it maybe brought value, it is something that you could show to another employer that does have value. And so it's just about how we word it, how we explain it. And so that's what they'll be there for in the resume building room. And then if they want, they can go into the mock interview room. And that's because sitting down and answering questions about yourself isn't just necessarily the norm. Like, this is uncomfortable for me, but I'll do my best. But it takes kind of that, the mock interviews will help get the brain going, get the juices flowing. There'll be 5 questions that you'll get asked, and they're just kind of typical interview questions. And so then when you go out into the floor, you'll be ready to talk to businesses. They might ask you the same questions. Well, that's good news because you just answered it, or it just kind of helps you explore avenues. So the businesses that are going to be there, they're supposed to be there to be intentionally trying to keep these people here. So I'd love for all of them to say, hey, we're hiring on the spot that day. Now, that might not be realistic, but at least schedule an interview for these people. You got your first face-to-face with them. Because a lot of places do screenings. And so they'll do an initial screening. Well, if we can count that as a screening, then we've got our first sit-down interview. And then we also have headshots from Rossi Studios from 2 to 4 p.m. She's a great personality, so she's going to get them out of their shell. I know that for sure. And that's just for people that, I think when people think of a career fair or a job fair, I think they think of more so of entry-level positions.
Yeah.
And I don't want necessarily that to be the case. We have currently people that have told us the jobs they have, they range from all different positions. And so maybe having that personal, professional headshot could be something that would help you out, whether it's that day or the next interview down the road.
What was the moment that made you decide, I need to put this together? Like, I need to do this?
Well, it happened actually in one of the meetings that we were sitting there and it's right after you hear the closing of Heister, and or the moving of Heister, and then you start to see people on Facebook start to promote and say, hey, we want to do resume building for you. We want to do mock interviews for you. And so wanted to try to at least say, okay, there's this need. The community wants to help. We want to try to let people know that there's still plenty, of help for you right now during this time. And there's still plenty of businesses out there. So we tried to make it the kind of this all-encompassing event where you can come see the support of other businesses in our community, but also get things done that you might be a little nervous or a little confused on how to go about, because it's just been so long you haven't had to do it. But as far as it goes, I'd say the closing and the news from Heister is kind of what got the juices flowing in my head about it. And unfortunately, since then, we've seen more and more start to kind of do the same. And so then you start to feel the urgency behind it.
Yeah.
And then started talking to a couple realtors and them saying that I've already reached out to them to move out of our community. And so, it just starts to pull at your heartstrings because, one, bills are real.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you that bills aren't real.
Yeah.
I would argue with you that the community is worth staying in.
Yeah.
Just because the employer left doesn't mean that we're leaving. We're not giving up on you. And so to start to really see the businesses start to fall even more and start to hear that people are really urgently trying to leave, want to at least give us a fighting chance to say, hey, don't move quite yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. No, my dad was talking to me about the prison, and he was like, they are always hiring, and those pay really well.
Really good.
You don't need a degree.
Mhm.
So I was like, that would be a really good fit for the people who were laid off or who aren't moving with Heister.
Yeah, well, and that's where it's a career fair to show what jobs are out there.
Yeah.
And so hopefully people can come to that, not necessarily thinking, okay, I worked at Heister, I did this at Heister, I need to go do this at another
Right.
place. Like I said, there's going to be a barber there. There's going to be,
Really?
there's going to be people there, just mental wellness as well. So, I mean, not necessarily if you want to go back to school and want to become a part of that wellness group, you can, or they're there, one, to just make sure your peace of mind is okay. You are whole. But yeah, the DAC's going to be there with all their apprenticeship programs. And so yes, it might take a little bit of time to get to where you want to be in those. But like I said, there's plenty of opportunities with trade jobs in our community that if you took a little bit of time, worked on yourself, upped your skills, there's no reason you can't have your own thriving business in this community. And so hopefully we can show people, hey, there are jobs here in Vermilion County still. So I let me get a little bit calmer because I see that. Now, what if I want to take a bet on myself? What could I do? What could I go find out? And that's where all of us, it's a coalition. It's a coalition to keep people here. And that might not be necessarily you getting that employee, but hey, if you give them any interest or an insight to something else to where they're like, you know what, I used to cut my buddy's hair all the time back in college or whatever. And so now, yeah, I'm going to be a barber now. Yeah. You never know. That's kind of the hope to bring optimism to them. So our intentionality is to try to keep the people here. I don't want them to have to move. That's a process within itself. And so some people, they're feeling forced to move. And so they might be locked in at a really good interest rate. And now they're not going to be locked into a good interest rate because they want to go move to Avon, Indiana and stay working at Heister where, well, now your house is more expensive. And yes, the property taxes are cheaper, but your interest rate that you had at your house before might be 3 to 4% higher than what it is now. So
the last question that I have for you, ask everybody, is how do you define success in a way that most people might disagree with? This can be for you, your business, the community.
Disagree with. So our family business has gone through now 4 generations.
Wow.
So me and my brother's the 4th generation to be blessed to be able to own and operate this. And one thing that we shied away from at times, and the world kind of makes you want to feel like it, we operate with love. And it might be something that might seem a little kind of gushy, or it might be that thing where it's a little bit too much vulnerability. We are family owned and operated. There's no way that we can't have love in our process of that. And so there's not going to be a person that works for us that doesn't understand that they're loved by not just our family, but the people that they work beside too. And so it's been something to where you kind of think, okay, yeah, no, we love each other. I mean, it's taken us a long time. We are proud to say it. It is something that we love each other, and we love each other from a place of accountability as well. We always tell people we take our opportunity to employ people here in this community very seriously. We don't hire people to become better employees. We hire them to become better people. And that doesn't happen if we don't treat the people that come through our doors and work for us as family. Yeah, sure, we want it to seem like it's sunshine and rainbows, but really, you want a family member to let you know when you're not doing something right. You want them to let you know that you're not acting in your best interest right now. And that's what we mean by when we're a family-owned business. And so we operate by, sometimes it's tough love, and sometimes it's just love. But for the most part, love is just a part of the equation. And we love what we do every day. We love who we do it with. And it gets contagious. And that's why we try to really, when we hire somebody, our goal is to retire them. I don't care if they're 18 years old or if you're 50 years old. So,
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate you.
well, thank you so much. I appreciate the work that you're doing. You're doing a phenomenal job, so keep it up.